All right, so welcome. I'm super excited about today's dish because it's actually one of my signature dishes. It's been with me since 2008, so it's almost 11 years now. And it's a very humble dish in the end of the day because it consists of 3 ingredients. We got onions in 2 types, and we got almonds and licorice. And that's it, really. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna turn it into different kinds of textures. And with onions, we're gonna make them, one of them we're gonna make into a cream, and one we're gonna make a veloute. A veloute is more of a sort of a thicker soup. The almonds is gonna be roasted, it's gonna be turned into a roasted almond milk. And on top of that, we're gonna use the Nordic favorite spice. We use it in candy and all sort of stuff. It's licorice, and we're using raw licorice. So it's a very simple dish, but flavor-wise, it's just amazing. All right, so regarding the ingredients, let's go slightly deeper before we start cooking. I said we had 2 types of onions. The first one is the shallots, mild onion. So we don't want to go too heavy here, not yellow onions, anything like that. So for the cream, we're going to use the shallots. Next onion we're going to use is the Roscoff onion, which is a French onion. Has a little bit more sweetness than the shallots. And this is the classic onion soup. When you're talking to the French and when you're talking onion soup, is always the Roscoff onion. Almonds, 2 types. We have, today we will be using the Marcona almonds. And the reason why we're using these guys is because they're slightly sweeter and they're softer. That's what we're looking for. We also have a touch of almond oil that's going to be used on here to top it off with a little bit to get some more luxury going here. On top of that, we have the licorice, which is it's like an extract from the licorice root. And as I mentioned before, it's very popular in, for example, candy, but it also has a little bit of sweetness, but it's very strong. So you need to be very calm with this one. For acidity in this dish, because always when we're cooking, we're looking for acidity and salt level. That's what brings flavors up. So that's super important. This one, very basic. The most classic workhorse in the kitchen, the lemon. And for the soup, we will be using some classic, just dry white wine. No sweetness in this one, just a dry white wine. And also a little bit of butter and dairy products will be used, but let's get to that later. All right, it's actually time to start cooking. And always when we're cooking, we're starting with whatever takes the longest time. So here, it will be the onion cream. So we basically just chop it down, caramelize it in the oven and get it roasted. While that's roasting away in the oven, we will get back into what's happening on the stove. So off we go. We will start with the shallots, which will be going into the oven, and it's turned into a cream. So cut in half again. Very basic, don't be worried about, but try to keep them sort of even size because they're gonna slowly caramelize in the oven now. And when you're working, always do one thing at a time. That will speed you up in the kitchen. So don't start chopping one onion and then the next one. So now let's cut all of them in half and then half again. And then we start chopping. It's the same when you're peeling the onions, peel all of the onions, not just one onion and then go on. All right, so all that done. So now we're going into the next phase, just chopping them down, not too small, not too big, very easy peasy. Remember now, as always, fingertips in, foundation when chopping stuff. The reason why we're cutting the onions down is basically to speed up the process when it comes to caramelization. You could roast them whole, but it will take obviously a lot longer. And why when we can speed it up? All right, done. Over with these guys to the tray where we're gonna roast them in the oven. Then, just a touch of oil. We're using basic cooking oil here. It's a touch to speed up the process once we get into the oven and get the caramelization going slightly quicker, and also so they don't stuck to the tray. Using just the plain cooking oil, no flavor, nothing, because we have enough flavor going from the onions. Give them a little bit of a massage here. Get it in there. Give them a little bit of love. All right. So that's our onions. It's gonna be caramelized to the onion and cream. Also, we're gonna roast the almonds now. We will put them in at the same time, different tray though. So basically, we're putting our almonds onto a tray. These ones does not need an oil, keep them nice and plain. 150 degrees oven, so nice and slowly, so we get the caramelization going without overcooking them or without burning them. So shallots in the oven. Now time for onions number 2, which was the Roscoff onions. Same thing again. These ones, we're just gonna cut in half. So once again, chop all of them up. This will save you time. These ones we're gonna slice, and we're gonna slice them nice and thinly. So once again, we speed up the process of the caramelization in the pan later on. So cut in half, and then off we go. That's it. Chopping done, so now it's time to slowly caramelize them in the pan. So using just a basic sauteuse pan. This oven goes up to 9, so around about 6 here. Nice and slow. We don't want to burn them, we don't want to roast them, we want to caramelize them. So we want to get all the starch out here. That sort of will give all that flavor. All right, so up to 6. Same again, touch of oil. Don't be shy with oil here, we don't want to burn it. Don't want it to get too stacked. Also, when we are slowly caramelizing, we're using a wooden spoon to scrape all the flavors up that sits in the pan. All right. Onions in. We don't need to wait for it to heat up that much. It's just gonna come nice and slowly here. So we hear the heat, it starts coming to the pan nice and slowly. Keep on giving it some attention. It might look silly that we are playing around so much with these onions, but it's so important when it comes to the flavor in the end of the soup. The reason is, I mean, we get all this caramelization, and caramelization gives a lot of flavor that the brain really connects to. So it's so important. Look at that. Now the caramelization really starts. Look, that's what we want. That's what we're looking for. That's flavors, that's flavor. Yeah, keep it going, keep it going. Yep. All right, so now it starts to, you see it start bubbling here and really caramelizing. So it's still a few minutes to go, but now to speed up the process a little bit and give it a little touch of nuttiness also, we're adding a little bit of butter to it. So now we are where we want it to be. Nice caramelized, not too far now. We don't want to burn it. So this is what we're looking for. So now we will deglaze the pan with a little bit of our white wine. Yeah. Oh, the smell. Huh. So now let's deglaze it down. So all the way down almost until there's nothing left. And you see all this coloring coming here. It almost looks like I added a brown sauce, but it's just the caramelization from the onions together with the wine. Oh. Yep. Yeah, the glaze, the glaze, the glaze. And then we're gonna add a little bit of milk, a little bit of cream. Bring it down a little bit again. That's it. Mix it, sieve it, done. All right, here we see. It's all gone almost. That's what we're looking for. Let's lower the pan a little bit more, because now we're gonna add some of the milk and cream. Yeah. Cream is in there. Pan up a little bit. And then we will add the milk. Look at that color. All right, that's it. Let this just slowly simmer away for a few minutes to just get all the flavors up there. Scrape off the edges. Get all the flavor out there. Yeah. Yeah, just leave it and then we'll wait for a few seconds to get it up there. Yeah, just a quick little stir and a boil. And I would say that's ready now. So now it's time to mix it and sieve it. Pass it through, you know? Nice and smooth, that's how we want it. All right, done. So now we are where we want to be. Get it all in there. Scrape the pan, get all these flavors in there. Yeah, yeah. And then we just strain it, everything through here. Use the back side of a spoon or a ladle or wherever you have a handy back there. All right, soup done, nice and thick like a veloute, as I promised in the beginning. So this is what we're looking for. It's nice and thick. So, soup done, perfect. Clean down, we get into the next stage. All right, so our almonds been nicely roasted, 10, 12, 15 minutes on 150 degrees. We want to get this lovely nutty brown color. Some of them we're going to use now infused in a little bit of milk. And some of them we will leave to just cool down, and then we'll chop them up and use them in the dish to get some texture. Empty pan, half the almonds in there. That's it. And then we add a touch of our own milk. So, milk in, and then just leave them slowly on very low temperature for like half an hour to infuse. Lid on, just leave it, don't worry about it. And get the flavors in there, all that roasted almonds and the almonds has cooled down. Just basically, don't finely chop them, just roughly. It's The only texture we will actually have in this dish is a silky smooth fish, but just a little bit of bite that will come through. This will be in the bottom on top of the oven roasted onion cream. Make sure there's no whole ones in there. That's the only important part here. That's it. We don't need any more than that. All right. Our toasted almond milk is done. It's been infused now for half an hour. Time to get the almonds out of there. All right, that's it. Touch of seasoning, a little bit of salt, a few drops of lemon to fresh it up, and a little knob of butter to be able to get that nice foamy cappuccino texture. All right, we'll leave it there to just simmer and get the butter to melt. All right, so we're gonna have a lovely oven roasted, lightly caramelized shallots. So basically just bring them into the mixer. Make sure you scrape all the juices from the pan in there as well. And let's add a touch of cream in there. Not too much. Remember, this is not a soup, it's a cream. It's a puree. All right. So the onion cream is done, and what's really important here is the texture. Remember, it's supposed to be a lot thicker than what we had with the veloute. So whatever you do, don't add too much milk and cream, because you wanna be able to spot the difference in the end of the day when you're eating the dish. And this one, same here, seasoning wise. It's just a touch of salt and some acidity from fresh lemon to fresh it up and get the flavors going. Right, lovely. All right, so all the onions is done, the almonds is done. Last ingredients, the third one we're gonna work with now, it's the cream. Just 40% fat content cream goes in the bowl. Whatever we do now, let's make sure we don't over whip it. Nice and soft, that's how we want it. And touch of our own licorice. Let's not overpower it, it's strong, it's sweet. And then we just whip it. Make sure we get some nice air in there and don't get it too thick. We're closing in. Remember, not too whipped. Yeah. Be careful, this is what we're looking for. Nice and light like that. Should be like folded like an easy canal. All right, fun part coming up now, plating. So it's part of like a soup. So obviously, plating wise, we're using a small soup bowl. First up, start off with the roasted caramelized onion cream in the bottom of the plate. Soup, nice canal as we chef says. Then we have the toasted almond milk. Just make sure you foam it up a little bit with the mixer. And then we just add a little bit here to the plate. Use the foam like the cappuccino style. Nice and even in the middle of the plate. Nice and round. Then soup time. Say roughly around 4 tablespoons. Once again, start in the center and just let it come down on top of your cream that you have in the bottom. Next up, it's almond time. We start with the almond oil in the middle. Just cover it 1.5 teaspoons. Just in the center, or where we have the onion soup. Touch of the roasted almonds. You can't really have too much of these, but just so it looks nice and gives some texture to the dish. Licorice cream, next up. Lightly whipped. Once again, we're working that nice canal here in the center. Finish off. Just touch of the licorice. Yeah, happy with that. So when you eat it, you will dig to the bottom to get all the layers and textures going, bite by bite. That's it.